Well, and welcome to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast, number 16, live but recorded from the Go Spurs Go Memes Network studio. I'm your host, Ray. Today, I'm only joined by Jack, the intern, and Frank, the producer, while our other two guys are out this week. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing this fine, wonderful week?
Doing good.
Good, yeah, Jack. I'm glad to hear it. Frank, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I love talking over Jack. It's been a great Christmas season right now. All the projects are starting to get finished. By the end of this week, done. I get to cruise and take some time off.
Are you doing vacation?
Yes.
2 full weeks, or what are you doing?
Well, it's kind of like 2 full weeks because I put my week in right when Christmas, my days off for Christmas begin.
Yeah.
So, Wednesday, and then I won't have to come back till basically a week and a half.
Oh, that's fantastic. Jack, how about you, buddy? What are you doing?
Cooking, actually.
Oh, that's right. You are
smoking
doing
a turkey this weekend.
I'm very excited about
I saw those
turkey.
balls that you put up on Facebook, too.
Yeah. Sausage balls or
Jack's balls are
specialty.
very legendary. Everybody loves his sausage balls.
I've never had them.
And he tried a new recipe this year,
I did
too.
have a new recipe. I had some cream cheese in, onion, some cornmeal. It turned out quite well.
That's fantastic. Well, I had a busy week running around with the kids as normal. Went up to Fredericksburg on Wednesday. Madison had a basketball game in Fredericksburg. Had never been to Fredericksburg before.
You serious?
I've never been there
It's
before.
a longer drive than you imagine.
It really was. Especially I kind of felt like the road, I guess it's 87 that you take off I-10.
It's a nice road.
I felt at nighttime it was like a death road because you can't see anything,
It reminds me of Pee Wee Herman at night.
And then all you're doing is it's like playing chicken with everybody with your hybrids. You know what I mean?
And watching out for deer.
Oh, exactly, man. Anyways, but, finally went to Fredericksburg. We went down Main Street, went by the World War II Museum. I actually wanted to go to the World War II Museum, but we didn't go because I guess half of it is under refurbishment right now. Yeah. So I didn't want to pay and just see half of it because then, I was like, when am I ever going to get back to Fredericksburg? Because, it's not like it's far, but
I go there every year.
I can't be bothered. Do you go every year to the museum?
Well, here's a cool thing. You know how
you like peaches? You love peaches, Frank?
Aviation.
Peaches and cats.
Yes.
I know.
And planes.
And planes. Peaches, cats, and planes.
Actually, this is kind of like a little-known thing, but, being an avid aviation connoisseur, what happens is there's a lot of training that happens with people flying in formation, like for these World War II birds.
Yeah.
So about May or something, we'll get a call and say, hey, they're going to do it right now. And so what they do is they fly in the morning, get certified, and so all these World War II birds just fly in, so it just looks like a regular air show. They do their certification, and then by that night, they decide to do an impromptu air show. So it's really, really cool to do that.
Very cool.
That. Not a lot of people know that this happens, but, certainly it happens every year around May.
The secret's out.
And the secret's out. Frank's told everybody.
I know. 6 listeners.
Yeah, and then the cool thing, too, is because it's Christmas time, they have all the Christmas lights out in front of, the courthouse or where the mayor is,
nice.
City Hall, where the mayor is, the City Hall or whatever. They have all the lights up and everything like that. And they actually have, a tower of what appears to be nutcrackers, big nutcrackers. So it looked really cool. And it's funny because I think we were leaving Fredericksburg maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And all the stores were already closed, which I thought was just funny. But that's small town life right there.
Small town?
But I do want to go back because I didn't realize how many breweries and how many wineries are up there.
It's a hidden secret.
I was just
there's whiskey and bourbon.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
Somewhere up there. I don't know.
Oh, whiskey and bourbon. I want to go there. You can't beat that. Love whiskey and bourbon. Anyways, gentlemen, I think it's time for the news. What do you guys think?
Let's go.
Good.
That sounds good. Frank, can we get the typewriter noises in this week? Because, ball kind of was dropped last week. Just saying.
Oh,
anyways,
really?
Can we do it post, Frank? Is that okay?
We can do it posed.
Thank you, Frank. I really enforce the we.
I don't need sleep.
Doing it in the post. Good. Anyways, on with the news. Of course, today was the Lakers game. Tony Parker was out tonight for rest. Former Cavs forward John Hot Rod Williams passed away at the age of 53. Williams had recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Paul Pierce will not discuss retirement until the offseason. Hornets Al Jefferson has been suspended 5 games for violating the NBA's anti-drug program. Klay Thompson sustained a sprained right ankle during the game versus the Pacers. X-rays were negative, but he'll miss a couple of games, including tonight's game against Boston.
Correct.
2 overtimes for the Warriors to stay undefeated at 24-0.
Oh, Boston gave that game away.
They completely did. Just lots of mistakes towards the end.
And you knew that was going to happen. I mean, I even texted you guys saying, hurry up and win, guys.
No kidding. And I think Buddy had messaged us or whatever, and he was like, oh, Boston's up, and I still said Warriors are going to pull that out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And sure enough, that's what
they'll
happened.
lose. In fact, there's going to be a good chance now, but I mean, we're witnessing history, and of course, ESPN is shoving it down everybody's throat.
Everybody's throat.
They are the dream team.
It's the
this
flavor
year.
of the season right
Yeah.
now. Pelicans and Suns are discussing a trade to send Markieff Morris to New Orleans. The Rockets are also interested in Morris as well. Raptors' DeMarre Carroll is expected to miss an indefinite period of time with a right knee contusion. If you remember from the Spurs-Raptors game, he didn't play, and it's because of his knee. The Clippers have gauged trade interest in Lance Stevenson and Josh Smith, even though head coach has come out and said that they're not looking at trading either one of those guys. I call BS there. 76ers and Brett Brown are discussing an extension. I mentioned earlier that it would be announced today, and it was. He's going to be with the Sixers for another 2 years, which is kind of amazing if you think about it. I think he's been there 3 years already. He'll stay there through 2019, and that man just has not given up on that team.
He's gone 38 and 150.
That's crazy. But the Sixers are completely committed to their plan
That's
of
true.
tanking their teams every year to get these high draft picks. And, you know, if you think about it, if they get this kid out of LSU that's coming out, what is it, Ben Simmons? Do I got the name right, Jack?
Yep.
Ben Simmons, right? If he comes out of LSU, I mean, you think if that team is healthy, they have all these amazing draft picks. It'll be a young team, but man, they'll have a lot of talent there, and maybe it'll turn into something. I don't know.
So you're saying that they're going to be managed well at that point?
I don't. Well,
Because
here's the other big thing.
They remind me of the Clippers,
Okay.
decades back.
But here's a good thing, and I'm glad you kind of brought up the management thing, because this is my next thing, is that the 76ers this week hired Jerry Colangelo as a special advisor, chairman of basketball operations.
True.
So that's a huge thing for the 76ers. And so it'll be interesting to see if Colangelo will actually improve the Sixers in their operations to make that a legit basketball team. See what happens there. John Wall injured his knee. There's no structural damage, so we'll see what happens with him. The Nets' Ronda Hollis-Jefferson had to have ankle surgery this week due to a fracture. LeBron James signs a lifetime deal with Nike. It's the first deal that Nike's ever done like this. It's also the richest deal for Nike ever. And supposedly this amount that he's getting paid will surpass Kevin Durant's 10-year, $300 million deal. They're not releasing any numbers, so that's just insane. And if the playoffs started today, this is what would happen in the East. So your top teams in the East right now, first is the Cleveland Cavaliers, followed by the Charlotte Hornets, which is kind of surprising. We talked about that earlier, Jack.
True.
Number 3 is the Toronto Raptors, followed by the Pacers, Bulls, Heat, Celtics, and Hawks. But the Magic and Pistons are right on the cusp of that number 8 seed. In the West, of course, you have the Golden State Warriors at number 1, your San Antonio Spurs at number 2, followed by the Thunder, Clippers, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Jazz, and Rockets. The Suns and T-Wolves are also on that cusp to take that 8th spot. And that is it for the news, guys. We've got a great show today. Today we will have the interview with the one, the only Spurs in-arena host, Mr. Chuck Cureau. Had a wonderful time doing that interview. That'll be coming up today. We'll also be talking football, talking about what's happening in the world of college football, ArmyNavy game, and then we'll also talk about what's going to happen on Sunday with the pros. We'll have a Spurs discussion today, and for On the Fly, we'll be talking about Christmas movies, and maybe not even the ones that you're thinking of. Go Spurs Go Memes podcast continues in just a bit. And we're back, and it's time to talk Spurs basketball. Last week, we ran out of time. We were exhausted after the Spurs Jesus
Crazy
interview
show.
and the
Awesome show.
trivia with Spurs Jesus and Chuck Cureau. So we just decided, you know what, guys, this show, Podcast 15, had enough on it that we felt we didn't need to talk too much about the Spurs. So this week we're back. Again, I'm joined by Frank, the producer, and Jack, the intern, and we're going to kind of talk about the last couple of games the Spurs have played, including the 76ers, the Raptors, and tonight's game against the Lakers. So let's start off with I don't want to say it was good. I mean, it was an amazing game, but they were playing the Sixers. We're going to start off with the Sixers game. So, of course, it was the biggest win for the Spurs in franchise history. They won by 51 points, defeating the Philadelphia 76ers 119-68. I mean, it was just positives everywhere. I don't even know where to begin with that, just because of everything that was happening. I mean, I think the big thing that we saw out of that game was Boban. You know, Boban came in. He was just a human highlight reel. He really was. He was just schooling those poor kids in Philadelphia. And I mean, you know, I put up some memes of him doing a slam on 2 players, and then, of course, the fake that he did on one of the Philly players twice in a row. And I mean, you know what it really made me think watching that game was I really like seeing his jumper. And I started thinking for a bit. I was like, man, I think he might have a better jumper than LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't know. For those times that he was shooting, it was just like swish, swish, swish. He just couldn't miss. He was literally on fire. But again, it was against the Philadelphia 76ers. It's a team that's in decline,
What I think, too, I mean, you had him coming off of a little stint. He played, 2 games in Austin?
Yep.
At least a game in Austin.
And in that game in Austin.
And rocked it.
He did,
in
yes.
Austin.
34 points.
Had a bunch of confidence, came in right off the bat. Was lucky enough in this game that the Spurs could play him. I think he played 17 minutes, had 18 points.
8 for 10 from the field.
Yeah, I mean, just was feeling it. And, I'm just glad that we were able to keep going with him.
Yeah, and then another positive as well of that game, too, is Jonathan Simmons. He didn't have a great shooting night, but he did contribute 14 points. I really like seeing that Pop is trusting Simmons a whole lot more. We're starting to see him a whole lot more. And I mean, sometimes Simmons looks so good. He still has his mistakes here and there. But I would say that sometimes he has this talent that just shines through that sometimes I think like, man, I'd really like to see him start in place of Danny Green. Just my opinion, but sometimes he just really shows that. Frank, did you want to jump in there?
Oh, no, it was about Boban.
Go for it. Shoot it. Let's
well,
talk
the thing
Boban.
about Boban is, I guess you're going to expect him. I mean, no one knows how to defend his size just yet, but put him in the rotation. I'm really curious how defenses will respond to him because, you put him under the basket, he can easily go up, dunk. And, of course, his lateral movement isn't as good as other big men. However, he's got a jumper.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So I don't know, just that I just had to get that out.
The funny thing is, I kind of thought about that, and I was like, how do you defend Boban? And I think the best thing is that you get really close to him because the man is so massive that if he just moves and bumps you, it's an offensive foul. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's how you get him into foul trouble, and then you get him out of there. But I would love to see Boban start and have Timmy come off the bench. I know that more than likely DL is going to start, and then they'd bring Timmy out if they were going to flip-flop it. But I would like to see Boban start. He had one start, which I think it was against Denver, where he actually started with Timmy being out. And I think Ginobili was out that game too. But I would love to see Boban start. The fans love him. And I think that was the best thing about the Philadelphia game is that every time he touched the ball, I mean, the Philly fans were going nuts for him.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. He kind of... I don't know if Philly just wanted something to cheer about. They were like, "Hey, look at that big guy! Let's cheer for him."
I saw a funny picture from that game. It was of a Philadelphia fan. It was in the stands. And he took a picture of his Coors Light, and like the big metal bottle, and it said, "This beer cost me $6 more than my ticket."
Wow!
And the funny thing is, it was a lower level seat.
Right.
So I'm assuming that it's pretty easy to get a Sixers ticket in Philadelphia right now. Anyways, again, Spurs win 119-68. LaMarcus Aldridge threw in 26 points. Parker had 12 points, 5 of 8 shooting. It was just a great night all around for the Spurs. All right, Jack, let's go into the Raptors game,
which was just such a hard game to watch.
It really was. It was a disaster from the beginning. Spurs kind of picked it up in the fourth quarter, but it was just too late by that time.
Yeah, so Raptors won 97-94. It was really a game of two halves. First half, we shot the ball well. We were at about 51% at the half, but we had turnovers. We had 11 turnovers, 7 in the first quarter. Just really didn't start off in sync or anything. The Raptors were able to take advantage of that. They had 18 points in the first half off those turnovers. They were hitting their free throws. They went 7 and 8. And we didn't have any fast break points, which is always our problem.
Yeah.
The second half, we stopped turning the ball over. I don't think we had a single turnover, but we couldn't shoot the ball. We shot 26% in the third quarter, which that's kind of when they were able to build up that lead. And then, by the fourth quarter, when our bench guys finally kind of started getting a little bit of momentum, hitting some shots. It was too late, and we couldn't make a play, we couldn't get a stop, and it's just looking at the stat line. Ginobili off the bench led us with 17 points. LaMarcus had 13, and then Danny Green had 10, and David West also had 10 off the bench, and those were when your high scorer only scores 17 points, it's not a good shooting
sign.
day.
And the Spurs always go the way of their point guard. I mean, their guards, I should say. Tony Parker had a horrible night.
said that
Danny
so many
Green.
times.
I say it all the time. I'm kind of like a broken record there. Danny Green threw in 10 points, but he really played like crap. He wasn't hitting his threes. Defense was horrible. Again, transition defense was horrible. There was just so many mistakes here, but we go the way of our guards. If our guards have poor play, we're going to struggle, and all our losses, our guards struggled, and that's exactly what happened with this Raptors game. And the thing that kind of drove me crazy, too, is that if you look at the Raptors' record, they don't have a great home record.
No.
I think they only won a couple of games at home prior to this one, and so the Spurs were favored by like 14 points, I think it was. I could be wrong about it, but I think it was like 14 points. And just to see them walk out of there with a 3-point loss is just, it's mind-blowing,
But
Frank?
you got to take into consideration, the fact that they lost by 3 points with all these problems up here, and what kept them in the game? The second string.
Second string. It's
team.
always the second string. It
Fantastic,
always
though.
is.
But that's a comforting situation for me, because think about the playoffs. If they're having a terrible game, you can almost count on that bench to bring them back
Right.
into this and always keep it close. They still lost by one possession.
Right.
You have to think about it.
And one thing we didn't talk about either about this game is Kawhi was still sick. Kawhi was out the game before.
And I've got a question, and I'll
Yeah.
follow it up with the question that I asked you last week. So, should Kawhi have played?
I don't think he should have. I think when he got out there, he looked horrible.
Right.
He still looked sick. He really didn't start looking himself until the fourth quarter.
Right. Yeah, he didn't score in the first half, ended up with 7 points. And so this is my follow-up question that we've talked about a little bit.
Right.
This year, definitely Kawhi is the MVP of this team.
Sure.
He is the man.
Absolutely.
Right.
But what is more important to the Spurs right now, Kawhi's scoring or Kawhi's defense?
I think it depends on the game. I think there are times where we need his defense when we're playing those bigger guards that Green and Tony Parker can't handle. We need his defense. When the Spurs are struggling offensively, that's when we need Kawhi. So I think it rotates depending on who they're playing and what type of game that team plays.
Yeah, very true.
I mean that's just kind of how
the
I view
problem
it.
in this game is, LaMarcus struggled, 4 for 10, which isn't too bad, but especially with Tony not having a great game, they had no one that could actually make a shot.
Right.
Until the bench came in, and then Ginobili can do that.
Exactly.
He can do that. Kyle Anderson can do that. Patty Mills can do that. But Patty had an off night, and I totally agree with you, Frank. Though it's not the end of the world. We're nitpicking.
Well, we totally are
But
nitpicking. I mean, the Spurs got a
second best record in the league.
Yeah,
But that's
I mean,
what
they
we can do. After how many 50
but it's hard
seasons?
not to, but in our defense too, it's hard not to nitpick when you see that they're in the same conference as the Golden State Warriors that are shooting lights out every single night. Their defense is really good. They stifle offenses. I mean, they're really playing at a level that no one else in the league is playing right now. Now, is it going to stay that way? No. It's going to come down. They're going to have a bad night of shooting. They're going to have, where they miss defensive assignments, whatever.
Right.
It'll happen.
True. Almost happened tonight.
But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this team sets a record for wins in a season. I would not be surprised about
Scary
that.
stat. So, we just talked about the 76ers game. 119 points for the Spurs was the most since April 3rd of last season. We beat Denver 123-93. Golden State has scored 119 points 9 times this season.
It's crazy.
Like on November 2nd, they beat Memphis 119-69.
It's crazy.
So they're doing this on a regular basis. We've only scored
Exactly.
24 or played 24 games. That's a third of the games. They've
Right.
scored what we did, and they basically look unstoppable.
Yeah, they really do until tonight. Now,
Right.
we're going to leave
you
the
did
Raptors
have-
game.
yeah.
We're going to go into the Spurs-Lakers game. But, of course, tonight was Boston-Golden State. Boston took them to double overtime. Warriors were without Klay Thompson, and they struggled tonight.
They were also without Harrison Barnes.
Right, exactly. Who's still out because
Right.
I think it's his knee or his ankle.
Yep.
I forget what it is. But, they struggled tonight, and I was really surprised that Klay Thompson not being there was such an impact for them. I really just thought that one of the other Warriors would step up and really dominate Boston because I know Boston's kind of like a 500 team. They're a little bit over 500 if I'm not mistaken, but I don't think that they're a great team. So I was really surprised that they were able to hold the Warriors to double overtimes until
Honestly, Draymond Green was the reason that they won that game tonight. He had a fantastic game and was all over the place. I don't have the stats right in front of me.
Don't worry about it. We're going to talk Spurs anyways. But I just
good.
wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
Okay,
Back to the Spurs.
So back to the Spurs. Spurs beat the Lakers tonight, which is always a damn fine time. 109-87 here at the AT&T Center. Let's see, for the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell put in 24 points. That kid is pretty good. I mean,
real?
you know, I had seen him play when he was at the Ohio State University. But he really is a great guard, and I think that he's the future for the Lakers. So they were very, very fortunate to be able to draft him. Kobe Bryant threw in 12 points, and Lou Williams threw in 19 points. For the Spurs, LaMarcus Aldridge, 11 of 20, 24 points, 11 rebounds with a double-double. Kawhi Leonard threw in 16 points as well. Patty Mills off the bench, 9 of 11 from the field, 22 points. I mean, you know, everybody just kind of contributed to this game. But there were some moments where, you know, first quarter, the Lakers were winning until the Spurs kind of kicked it into another gear and took the lead over. And then at halftime, the Spurs were only up by 2 points. But I think the Lakers play the Spurs hard. They just up their game when they come to San Antonio, and when we go to the Staples Center, they're ready to go. So we kind of mentioned, you know, some of the stats from tonight. There's highlights. I made some memes off some of the highlights for tonight. But the one thing that I want to talk about is the thing that drives me absolutely insane anytime the Lakers come to town is the amount of San Antonians and Texans that are in freaking Lakers jerseys. Tonight's game was sold out. The prices were that of a playoff game, and it literally felt like half the damn stadium was for the Lakers. And it was. I mean, Frank, you and I were kind of talking about this, man. I know you want to jump in on this,
No,
Frank.
I mean, it's really, really annoying. Well, and add to that the fact that this is Kobe's farewell season, and, you know, you're lavishing attention on him. Because one thing I did notice is that every time he got the ball or every time he made a shot, you would hear the crowd erupt. So honestly, I think it's just respect from Spurs fans as well. So I don't know how much that would actually contribute, or how much of those cheers were contributed by just Lakers fan. But the thing that always annoys me is that you have, well, like some people locally here say, T-shirt Laker fans. You know, they've never set foot in L.A. or California or anything else like that, but they like them.
But I think anytime that you get, sorry to interrupt you, I think anytime you get a big team, like a mass marketed team like a Lakers. I mean, in the NFL, you see it with the Cowboys and the Patriots. You know, you become a fan of that team because they're so good whenever they come close to you, especially right now with Kobe's last year, and especially, as we talked the other week, of the emptiness of the lower level at AT&T Center. Like, they're going to want to go see their guy. They're going to want to go see the guy that they grew up loving and adoring and being a fan, because for whatever reason they weren't a fan of anyone else.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there by saying, you know, people are attracted to teams that win. They are. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these T-shirt fans are fans that were all about the Lakers when they won back-to-back-to-back titles or back-to-back titles. That's all that this is. It really isn't about like the Showtime Lakers or anything like that. It's about the most recent championships that the Lakers won with Kobe Bryant, whether it was with Shaq or Gasol. And so you have a lot of people in town here that are like, you know what? They're a winning team. It's a winning franchise. That's what I want to wear. But the funny thing is like they have their own winning franchise here in their hometown. But because of the viewpoint that the Spurs are boring and they're not as, you know, attractive media-wise, that's why they're attracted to things like that. That's why you're starting to see so many people starting to wear Golden State jerseys and hats and everything like that.
Well, I mean that's a product of marketing.
It really is. I mean,
look at it, they're everywhere. ESPN. Yeah. The thing that really, really annoyed me today was that I was watching on ESPN and Golden State was. You know where I'm going with this. Golden State was going into overtime. It was going down to the last shot and last possession right here. And what did they do? They shrunk the footage of the Spurs to the upper right corner, and they enlarged the Golden State. So we're watching two games.
It's their golden child right now.
Play-by-play on both of them. It's
that's freaking ridiculous.
I will say that was pretty impressive, though.
But that's their thing. I mean, and if you look at the other teams that are kind of like media friendly, I guess you could say, you know, you have the Cavs and LeBron. It was the same thing when he was in Miami. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you still have to mention the Chicago Bulls, because even though Jordan hasn't played there in decades, he still made that franchise what it is, and people still associate that Bull symbol with Michael Jordan and that dynasty the Bulls had in the 90s. So it's just the same thing. And, of course, if there's another team that comes out of nowhere, hell, Philadelphia 76ers with all these damn amazing draft picks that they're getting, if that team starts winning again, you're going to start seeing people with Sixers jerseys everywhere. And, I think every sports team, every successful sport has them. So, like, if you look at the NFL, that's where you have all the Patriot fans that are here in Texas. It's because of how many times they won. Same thing with the Green Bay fans. It's just one of those things. I'm sure you have it in baseball. Everybody wears Yankees. Dodgers, Yankees, Dodgers. But it's because it's the big market teams. Anyways, that's it for Spurs discussion. We'll be back in a bit. Go Spurs Go Memes is proud to present an interview with Mr. Chuck Cureau. Chuck is a dear friend of ours and of the show, and we were so happy to have him on. Hope you guys enjoy this interview. We had a blast recording it. Today we have a special guest in studio, a very good friend of mine. I'm so happy that he was able to come and join us today. The one, the only, the Spurs in-arena host, Mr. Chuck Cureau. Chuck.
I am ecstatic to be here, but I want to hear one of those welcomes. I think that's fantastic. So let's do it together.
You want to do it together? Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Like us pros do it, Chuck. Ready?
Okay.
On the count of three.
Welcome.
And welcome to the Go Spurs.
And welcome.
Yes.
All right. Well,
yes. Next time you come on, you
All
can
right.
do it.
You mean I get to come back again?
Of course you do. You have an open invite with us, Chuck.
Excellent.
You're welcome to be here with us anytime you want.
As long as you have food, like you got the spread here today.
That's the green room, my friend.
The cookies were good.
Yes, it's legit. Like, we have cookies, we have crackers, cheese,
water in a
Yeti cooler. Yes.
You spent a lot of money. Spent a lot of your proceeds from Go Spurs Go
that's
Memes.
why Go Spurs Go Memes is very successful, Chuck, is because you got to spend money to make money. So
Is that the key? Dang it, I've been doing it all wrong.
So what's going on, my friend? Like I said, so glad, happy to have you here with us. What's going on, Chuck?
The better question is, what's not going on what's not going on in my life is a lot of sleep. I'm just a busy man, and I'm not complaining.
You are the busiest man that I know. You really are.
Yeah, I always say that I have three jobs. My main job is I work at that marine life park that they have here, SeaWorld. I've been there 27 years, which is kind of amazing to think that I've been at one place for 27 years, but they've been good to me, give me plenty of opportunities.
Right.
So that's the main job, and then the next job would be the in-arena host of the San Antonio Spurs. That's a story that we'll just have to get into. And then the third job is kind of a mix between an actor and an MC here in town. I get called upon by a lot of companies to MC some of their galas or charity events.
Which is so awesome.
It really is.
No better person to do it.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So between the three of those things, I don't have a lot of free time. But again, I am not complaining. Bring on the work. Bring on the MC gigs. I could use a commercial or two, another movie, a TV show. Yeah, it's good.
Well, that's awesome, man. So, okay, Chuck, so tell us about yourself. Tell us about Chuck Cureau.
Well, I was born a poor black child in 1967. I was born. I'm a military dependent. My mom and dad, Charles and Phyllis, originally from New Orleans, but they moved out of there. Dad joined the Air Force, traveled the world. It took us, my brother and sister and I, along with us, lived all over the world, all over the United States. We lived in Greece and Italy and in England, and we moved to San Antonio in 1981. So that was my freshman year of high school, where I went here in town to John Marshall High School. Marshall Rams are #1, and don't you forget it. Go Rams! I'm still not living in the 80s. Nope. With my Jerry curl. Yeah. I did. I had a mullet back then.
I remember. I've seen pictures. I know.
Business in the front, party in the back. I remember I would be short all on top, and in the back it would be long, and it was curly. It was not an afro, but I'm bald now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's gone.
It like jumps off one part of your body and lands on another. Geronimo, here's a nice place. What are you doing on my shoulder? Get off of there.
Right now he's Jerry Bald.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
But
we're
yeah.
never going to get through this interview
We
because you
never
and I
are.
are just going to keep cracking up. Because this literally is how our friendship is.
It really is. Ray and I both work together at SeaWorld.
Yes, it's true.
And so when I need a mental health break, I leave my office, I go to Ray's office, and this is what it's like.
It's exactly what it is.
It's not the PG version usually.
No, it's not at all. I think Chuck and I like to play a game. It's, who can offend each other the most. And that's basically what we do all day long.
And it's always a tie.
It's always, it truly is.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah? I
Your
cannot
mama.
do that. Yeah. It's very, very true.
Oh, goodness.
Anyways, let's continue with the interview.
Okay.
Okay, so, Chuck, you do so much stuff. You're an actor, you do emceeing. How did all that start for you?
I've always been interested in Hollywood and in acting. I mean, that is a huge passion of mine, and that's one of the things that kind of drew me to SeaWorld. When SeaWorld opened in 1988, I was studying journalism. I wanted to be a television personality, a reporter, an anchorman, or a host. So I took a job at SeaWorld as a tour guide in the education and conservation department so I could practice my public speaking skills. And I did that for about a year. And in that year, I learned kind of SeaWorld's mission to educate and entertain people about these animals. And I did some soul searching, and I changed my major. I was 2 years into my journalism degree, and I said, I'm changing my major. I'm going to become an animal trainer at SeaWorld. And my parents were like, you don't do what, boy? I'm going to be an animal trainer. But you can't even swim, which is a true story.
True story,
Couldn't
yes.
swim. 21 years old, didn't know how to swim, didn't want to get my hair wet, didn't want to get that Jerry curl wet. And so I joined a gym, and literally it took me 9 months of going into that gym every day and practicing on my own. If I were to do it again, hindsight being 20/20, I would have taken lessons. But instead I decided to teach myself, hence the reason why it took 9 months to do it. But so I learned to swim. I took a swim test because that's one of the prerequisites of being an animal trainer out there. You have to really be able to hold your own in the water because you're swimming with the best swimmers in the world, whales, dolphins, and sea lions.
Yeah.
So I passed the test and got a job as an animal trainer, training beluga whales and Pacific white-sided dolphins, and really enjoyed that and still enjoy it. And about, 5 or 6 years into my animal training career, SeaWorld kind of recognized that I had this passion for television, and I had some public speaking chops because, after all, I had theater background and speech background, and so they started utilizing me as a spokesperson for the company, and I still play that role today. And which leads me to the Spurs aspect. The guy who hired me at the Spurs, he heard about me performing out at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
And so I got a message one day, hey, so-and-so from the Spurs wants to talk to you. And I was all like, what? They know I don't play. So he calls me up and says, hey, I want to take you to lunch and discuss with you some opportunities. So I said, okay, I'll nibble on this worm here. I'll take the bait. So we went to lunch and he started talking about being the in-arena host. First thing out of my mouth was, I don't play. I don't even know about sports. I'm a 6'2" black guy. I've never played basketball, never followed it. I know nothing about it. And he said, oh, well, the role that you would play is you'd be kind of the hype guy. You'd be doing the promotions and getting the crowd all hyped up. And so I said, well, sure, when's the audition? He said, there is no audition. It's yours if you want it.
Nice.
And yeah, it was really, really nice. I'm very, very fortunate, very blessed. I will forever, on my deathbed, I'll think about that guy and see and realize how he changed my life, because he really changed my life. He opened my life up to a whole new world of the NBA. And now I still don't know a whole bunch about the game itself, but I know a lot more than I did 8 years ago. And I really do enjoy it. I'm really very fortunate. The organization is top notch. They really take care of me.
Yeah.
Great story. That first year when I was in-arena host, again, just the hype guy saying, go Spurs, go, getting people clapping and cheering and everything. Well, 2 years into that gig, 2 months into that gig, I'm driving to the AT&T Center for a game, and I hear on the radio that the PA announcer had an accident, and he hurt himself. And I'm driving in, and I'm like, oh, and I know the guy. And I'm like, oh, man, I hope he's okay. And then the next thing in my mind was, I hope they don't ask me to be the PA announcer. And I drive in, and I get there, and my boss goes, hey, I need to talk to you about this. And he says, we need you to be the PA announcer for the game because, so-and-so is injured. And I was like, I don't know anything about basketball. And he said, you'll sit right next to me and you'll just be a parrot. You'll say everything that I say, but you do it in the voice.
Oh, there you go.
And so I did that one game. I was sweating. Oh, man,
I could just imagine.
I was.
I could just imagine.
And at the end of the game, a lot of the bigwigs came around and they discussed it, and they said, Chuck, he's going to be out for a while. We're going to need you to take on this role.
Wow.
Would you do it? And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And funny thing, I called a buddy of mine, and I was like, I'm going to be the PA announcer for the Spurs. And he was all like, you stink. You don't even like sports. What is this all about? And I was all like, I don't know. And he had a great analogy. He's like, it's like as if someone wanted to put me in a movie. If Steven Spielberg said, hey, Bob, you want to be in this movie? And it's so true. It's like, I've never followed sports, which is kind of tough being a guy and not into sports.
Right.
Because all your buddies like the sports and everything. But I like Hollywood. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm into the acting
yes,
thing.
exactly.
So my buddy's like, it's like a great analogy would be, it's like if I won an Academy Award, and how would you feel? I was like, I'd be happy for you. He goes, but you'd be jealous, wouldn't you? I was like, yeah, I'd be a little envious. He goes, that's how we feel about you, man. You're courtside. So anyways, I was a PA announcer that first season for the majority of the year. Luckily, the existing PA announcer, the one that was injured, he was back in time for finals, and so and he was great. And I tell you, I have the utmost respect for PA announcers because they have to watch the game, they have to pay attention to what the players are doing and everything.
It's tough. Yeah, it's not easy.
It really is. It's really tough. And I tell you, that was an interesting 6 months or so because I didn't know what I was doing, and it came across at the games. And some of the local sports personalities, they pretty much crucified me.
I'm sure they did.
In fact, my
yeah.
friend Karen gave me a call. She's like, don't turn on this station because they're talking about you and it's not nice. So, of course, I turn it on, and he's just going on and on. Oh, the PA announcer, Chuck, he sounds like he's talking to walruses and blah, blah, blah. and so I called him up after he was off the air because I didn't want him to put me on the air.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, this is Chuck, the PA announcer. He's like, oh, man, it's just words. This is what we do. I'm supposed to do controversy. And I told him, I said, man, I know I'm not good. I'm trying to do the best that I can, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
Please bear with me. And I told him, I said, what would you do if the Spurs said, hey, would you do this? I'm not gonna tell them no. So it's just a great opportunity. So after that, I went on to continue doing my role as the in-arena host, and that's my niche. That's my fit.
That's your
I
fit.
can work that crowd up.
Exactly. So, you are kind of a local celebrity. I know I've been out with you before, and everybody recognizes you, and everybody's like, "Hey, it's the Spurs guy."
It's weird, yeah. It's
so,
weird.
so I know that's kind of overwhelming sometimes. So, what's the most positive thing that a Spurs fan has told you?
Wow. Recently, a gentleman asked me to come and take a picture with his little girl, and she was sick. She had cancer. And it was her 6th birthday, and she wanted to take a picture because she loved the Spurs. And so I went up there and spent time with her and her brother and her mom and dad. And it was just really fulfilling and really, really rewarding. Unfortunately, the little girl passed away.
Oh.
But it was just nice to have that moment and to know
Right.
that it kind of impacted her, that someone from the organization spent a moment with her. And it was really fulfilling for me to
Definitely.
to represent the company and to represent the team a little bit with this little girl. And we took pictures, and they were up on the Facebook, and her parents, had tears in their eyes.
Yeah,
They were
like
very,
it's just
very
a big
excited
moment
about
for
that.
that
Yeah.
family and everything. So
And
yeah,
so that translates to a big moment for me. I mean, it's touching. I mean, I'm able to touch people because of my association with the Spurs, and that's such a great feeling.
Wow. So, Chuck, like I said, San Antonio, everybody recognizes you. Have you ever been asked, just awkward situations with people? Because, you like I said, you're a local celebrity, and because people go to Spurs games and they see you all the time to see on the Jumbotron, I think that sometimes they feel like, hey, I know that guy, even though they really don't. And so it can lead to, like, some sort of awkward situations. Do you ever get into those?
Yeah, it is kind of weird. And, you've said local celebrity a couple of times. I'm just so...
You're a very humble guy.
I'm so uneasy
you're not,
with that.
But I know because I've seen it from the other side. We're walking downtown, and everybody's stopping you. And a lot of times, they don't even know your name. They're just like, "Hey, it's the Spurs guy. Hey, you're that guy from the Spurs."
Yeah.
So you are a celebrity, whether or not they know your name or not.
Sure.
So what's the most awkward situation that people have put you in?
Well, everyone is very kind. They want to take the pictures. What gets awkward, I guess, or weird, is that they're like, hey, I'm having a birthday party for my kid. They don't invite me to the birthday party. They're like, could you ask Tim if he'll go? Would you see if Tony would sign this basketball for my kid? And, those guys are wonderful, but, they can't go to every birthday party. That
Right,
they're
exactly,
invited
yeah.
to. But it's so funny because people think that I'm hanging out with them on the weekends. They think that I'm finishing up this podcast and going over to their house and having margaritas with them. And it's just not
You're
like
coming out
that.
of the birthday cake.
It's just not like that. I mean, the guys are great with me. I mean, they always say hello, which makes me feel great. They'll come up, they'll give the the bro hug, and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, this is really cool because they're some of the most famous people on the planet. It's amazing when you think about it that way. And I recognize that they're just people, just like we are.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're extraordinary people and they're gifted people. And it's nice to spend a moment with them when I do. But realize that I don't have their phone numbers. I can't ask them to come to your kid's birthday party or sign anything or sneak you back into the locker room. I've never even been in the locker room. so that's kind of, it's funny, it's awkward, but, it goes with the territory, and I enjoy it. I really do.
That's awesome. So best moment as in-arena host?
When they won the championship a couple years ago, I was sitting in the tunnel, and when I realized that we were going to win, I called my dad, and I said, Dad, I think I'm going to get a ring. Because my dad played basketball when he was in high school, and I remember growing up, he was trying to, figure out what I was passionate about and what I might have a skill at, and he would say, oh, you want to be in physical education, you want to play basketball. And I was like, no, I would like to be in the theater. I'm going to take drama. And so I know probably secretly he wanted me to pick up a basketball because, again, I'm 6'2", and I could probably palm a basketball with these long fingers and everything, but it never did. So when I realized that we were gonna win, I called my dad from the tunnel there, and I said, Dad, we're gonna win. And he was really proud, and it was just a nice little moment between us.
That's awesome. So what's going on, Chuck? Like, what projects do you have coming up? What else is going on?
Well, SeaWorld, 40 plus hours a week. I mean, the animals got to get fed. You got to train people how to work with the animals. So that's the main job. So, Monday, well, not even Monday through Friday, because we're open on the weekend. So that is the main job. Other projects in the works, more Spurs stuff. They have, throughout the years, throughout my 8 seasons with them, they've really kind of embraced me and welcomed me into the family and given me more responsibilities. And so I do a lot of spokesperson work for them. I've done some commercials for them. I appear on some of the local morning shows just to talk about the fan experience. Because that's what I do. It's not so much the game, it's the fan experience, because we have the best fans in the NBA. It is a Spurs family. Everyone knows. When you walk in there, no one knows a stranger. No one is a stranger to each other. I hug hundreds of people every Spurs game, and I love that. So the Spurs utilize me to do videos and to kind of be a spokesperson to say, hey, we're doing something down at the Alamo Plaza, or we're going to have a fan appreciation day over here. So that always keeps me very busy. And then MC work. I do a lot of charity MC work. I do it with Clarity Guidance Center, which is a center for children who have mental issues, and it raises awareness for mental health, and I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed a partnership, a relationship, I should say, with the San Antonio Food Bank. There's a lot of hungry people here, and the San Antonio Food Bank feeds like 58,000 people a week.
Amazing what they do.
And they've utilized my MC skills to help during galas to bring in more money. So it's nice to be a part of that. More of that stuff there. And then whenever I have an opportunity, I like to sit at home in my backyard with my little fireplace and have some of my friends come over, and we have our refreshing adult beverages and sit around and laugh.
Exactly.
But that doesn't happen all the time because I'm real busy with other things.
So, speaking of being the in-arena host, like you said, it is a job. It takes a lot of hard work. And with every job, there's challenges. So what would you say was the biggest challenge you've had being the in-arena host?
It's probably just because I have another job, a full-time job at SeaWorld, and oftentimes I will work an 8 to maybe 10-hour day sometimes at SeaWorld, and I will leave, go home, change, go to the AT&T Center, and then for 3 hours I have to be the Spurs in-arena host, which requires a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But when you're at work at 8:30 in the morning and it's 8:30 at night and you're not even halfway through the game, you still need to have that energy.
Right.
It's tough. I'm only human. Again, I am not complaining about it at all. So I don't want the Spurs to think I'm complaining. I don't want SeaWorld to think that I'm complaining. I'm very blessed and very fortunate. But it is work. It is work, and but it's. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Awesome.
But I'm tired at the end of the day, brother.
I'm sure you are.
I'm an old man.
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
You like double my age.
Come on now.
Just teasing, of course. All right, Chuck, those are all the questions I have for you, but I think now is time to do Question Fury. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's
you ready?
do it.
Okay, so
Oh, we got theme music.
we got theme music for it. This is legit.
What's it called again?
This is called Question Fury because I'm just going to give you
Question
questions.
Fury.
Ready? It's the same questions we ask anyone that comes in for an interview.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Bud Light or Miller Lite?
Neither. I don't drink beer, but Bud Light.
And that's true. He does not drink beer. I got to tell a little story real quick. We're going to interrupt Question Fury. So a couple weeks ago, we're at pub run. Okay, it's 80s themed whatsoever. I tell Chuck, hey, we're going. You need to come out whatsoever. Okay. So we're at the Buckhorn Saloon, and the Bud Light girls happen to be there. And for some reason, the Bud Light girls liked our little group that were there.
Because we're fun?
Because we're fun. So they start giving us tons of free beers. Now, I kid you not, I'm literally had about like 8-10 beers in my arms.
But you weren't
holding them like
driving
this.
that night, so that's
I was
good.
not driving that
Nope.
night because I know how to pregame and everything. So I had all these beers in my hands, and Chuck walks in because he's like, "Where you at, fool?" And I tell him like, "We're at the Buckhorn." He walks in, and I'm like, "Chuck, I got you a beer." I don't drink that.
I didn't say it like that, though. I was
You
like,
so did.
I would rather have a Cosmopolitan and put an umbrella in it.
And I don't know why I thought you would actually drink a beer because I know better. I mean, I know you, but yeah, I was just.
But I'll
like,
say Bud Light.
Yeah. Okay.
More music. More music.
Put the music back on, buddy.
out.
We're going back. Question Fury. Okay. Marvel or DC?
DC. I love Washington.
There you go. Really? Really? You did it on purpose.
I did.
Chuck knows how big of a DC fan I am, so there you go. Okay. Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger.
H-E-B or Walmart?
The HB.
H-E-B. Favorite Ninja Turtle? What's a Ninja Turtle?
Raphael.
There you
Just
go.
because it's fun to say.
There you go. Okay. Favorite wrestler?
That would be the Hulk.
That's
Hulkamania? I don't know. Sure. Does he still Hulk?
I was curious how you were going to respond to that question because I know you're not like a wrestling guy, so I was curious about that. Anyways, and then our final question, Chuck. What's your favorite TV show?
It's got to be Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Well, you see, the funny thing is, like, I'm like, no, that's Chuck. Like, that's
No.
like, no, I think he's being serious.
No. But he is fine. MASH.
MASH.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Wow.
Because I'm old, yeah.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
Weren't you filming in MASH?
Yes,
Like-
I was in the Korean War. Yes. My dad wasn't even in that. I don't really watch a lot of TV, but I like MASH a lot. I like Friends too, and I also enjoy watching the entertainment channel E News Live at 6 p.m. on channel. So I got to get my Hollywood fix.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you love your Hollywood stuff. Chuck, thank you so much for coming in, my friend. It's always good to see you. Love spending time with you. You know you have an open invitation to come hang out here at Spurs Go Memes every single time. Yeah, man, thanks so much for coming in.
I appreciate it, man. We've been talking about this for a while. And,
We have. I'm so glad we finally were able to work the schedule out to get you in here because you a busy man.
Yeah. I appreciate you, my friend. You're top notch.
All right, my brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight.
Fans, this is Clay with Go Spurs Go Meme. I'm your correspondent for Spurs in the City. Listen, this week I have found a friend on the streets of San Antonio. Hey, what's your name?
Benjamin,
Hello, Benjamin. Now, Benjamin, today I'd like to play a game. How long have you been a Spurs fan, Ben?
20 plus years.
That's a long time, Ben. How long have you lived in San Antonio?
About that same amount of time.
All right, so you came, you jumped on the train, the Spurs train, the silver and black train. Well, Ben, I've got a game today. The game we're going to play is called Former Spurs Player or Cast Member Character from the show on HBO, The Wire. It's a show that went away a long time ago. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to read a name, and you tell me if it was a Spurs player or someone from The Wire. To say someone from The Wire, say Wire. To say Spurs player, say Spurs. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You look ready. You look primed and ready to rock and roll, Benjamin. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Russell Bell.
Wire.
Correct. Will Franklin.
Wire.
Spurs. Wrong. Derek Dial.
Spurs.
Correct. Roger Brown.
Spurs.
Correct. Russell Bell.
Wire.
Correct. Omar Little.
Spurs.
Wrong. Wire. Cedric Daniels.
Spurs.
Wrong. Wire. Scott Sims.
Let's go wire.
Wrong. Spurs. Come on, you can do better than this. Clayton Davis.
Spurs.
Wrong. Wire. Derek Dial.
Wire.
Wrong. Spurs. Louis Nelson.
Wire.
Wrong. Spurs. Blake Ahern.
Spurs.
Correct. Kevin Willis.
Spurs.
Yeah, I'm sure you remember that guy, don't you? Would you remember what number he was?
No, I sure don't.
Number 40. I remember that. Joseph Stewart.
Wire.
Correct. Norman Wilson.
Spurs.
Wrong. Wire. David Greenwood.
David. Wire.
Wrong. Spurs. Okay, here's your last one. Albert King.
Spurs.
Correct. You win a prize. Look, I've got these 2 tickets to a Spurs game. The only problem is this Spurs game happened about 5 years ago. So congratulations on your tickets.
Thank you. I'll enjoy the past.
It's always good to relive the past. For Spurs in the City this week, I'm your correspondent on Spurs in the Street. This is Clay. See and say you later. See and say you later. I didn't even say you later. How do you say you later in Spurs talk?
Go Spurs, go.
That's right, Benjamin. See you later, guys.
And that music means it's time to talk football. So, of course, the college football season is pretty much done. It's time for the bowls. Jack, what's going on in the wonderful world of college football?
You know, we're going to start off. There's one more game in the regular season of college football. Army-Navy tomorrow
that's right,
afternoon. Yeah. Awesome game. And, gentlemen, have you seen the uniforms?
The Navy ones, I've seen the helmets. I haven't seen the whole uniform.
Correct. So we'll start with the helmets. They did a pretty cool little thing with their gloves. The uniform changed a little bit, but it's not too bad. So if you haven't heard yet, and of course by the time this airs, the game will already have happened, but Navy has hand-drawn different ships on the helmets with each position group having a different ship. So all of their linebackers will have cruisers because the cruiser provides anti-air defense and packs the biggest punch of naval surface ships representative of the linebackers of the Navy football team. Your defensive backs will be destroyers known for significant firepower, speed, and anti-missile defense.
I like that.
Wide receivers will be submarines, predominantly utilized as blockers. Remember the offense that Navy runs.
Yes.
Wide receivers play a key role in driving Navy's rushing attack, taking on a stealth-like persona as they blend in with the rhythm of the offense and bring significant firepower when called upon.
Man, these are really detailed.
This was the Navy press release.
Fantastic.
Wow.
This was from the Department of the Navy.
Your
The
taxpayers.
linemen are amphibious assault ships, just as a lineman's job is to create holes for running backs or the linebackers. These ships utilized to establish the beachhead that enabling the invading force to gain access and ultimately accomplish the objective.
Wow. Who does
Quarterback-
marketing for the Navy? Because they're really good at this PR stuff.
The quarterback is the aircraft carrier. The quarterback of the naval
Takes
fleet.
to the air.
The aircraft carrier is the ultimate decision maker, the quick strike weapon of the naval fleet. Your running backs are combat ships. Like running backs, they are fast and nimble. Ships can navigate through both crowded, shallow, and deep waters. Your kickers and your special teams, I think this is my favorite one, are minesweepers. Much like the specific task of the Navy's special teams, this small ship has a unique mission of identifying and eliminating mines.
Man, they really thought this through.
So, like I said, the helmets are freaking amazing. I almost hope that they're on sale just because they'll make a ton of money off of it. But their gloves, when they had kind of do the thing now where they put their hands together.
Yeah.
On the gloves, it says "Damn the torpedoes."
Oh, nice.
Like that's pretty
Nice.
cool. Like, I don't.
Oh, here. I'm showing him a photo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
Like-
you can't see it, you can only hear it.
Army hasn't really
that is
said
pretty
anything about what their uniforms are going to be. I don't know if they're just going to do their same old thing. But
Is that the normal Navy uniform? Like the top and
It changed a little bit. Like I think it's pretty much been the same.
Okay, because
They
I
changed
didn't
their
notice
helmet a
that.
couple
That's a
years
pretty
ago, but-
awesome uniform, I think, in my opinion.
They
Here you
look
go,
good.
Frank.
They look good.
I'm doing play-by-play. I'm handing the phone back to Frank because he
And now
can't
I've
see me do it,
received it.
and now he's received it.
Very nice.
Very good.
All right. In other news, because I just read about it. So Charlie Strong's been trying to replace offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so
Sonny
Son-
Cunliffe said no. Sterling Gilbert, the Tulsa co-offensive coordinator, at first said yes, but then he said no. And then this
Then-
afternoon, I guess.
Yeah, Perrin and Strong went to Tulsa to try to convince him to stay. But you and I were talking about this earlier, Jack. Who wants to take a job that's probably only going to last a year?
Right.
Because, Jack and I are still convinced that Strong is out at the end of his third year. If he actually makes it to the end of his third year.
Right. It'll be surprising if he does. I mean, more power to him. I think a college football landscape with Texas being a good team is good for the state, good for the Big 12. I don't know how it affects A&M, but we have our own problems, so we're just not
Right.
going to worry about them.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I'd love to see some just national profile games, with them and stuff. 'Cause
Well, then of course the Big 12 announced this week that what they're kind of teasing and calling the Baylor rule is now your schedule has to have the non-conference schedule
yeah.
has to be against the Power Five. So you can't take
Ohio
any of these
State- or,
cupcakes anymore.
the Big Ten also
like
made that
Baylor
rule.
was famous for, is that they would take these cupcake teams, and that can't happen anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what people are going to be scheduling, because
Yeah.
I know the Texas schedule in the upcoming years. They have games against Notre Dame, Cal, USC. I mean, I think pretty much the big teams in the NCAA, just like Oklahoma, they were already scheduling games against the Power Five.
Right.
This just makes everybody else in the Big 12 kind of go to that as well.
Yep. So sad day in Aggieland yesterday. Kyle Allen, the quarterback, had started 14 games going back to last year. Announced that he was going to transfer. The A&M offense is such a mess. I can't really blame him. I was hoping it was going to be Kyler Murray instead, but he wrote a really nice letter on Twitter and basically said, sometimes you just have to do what's best for you.
Yep.
So I definitely wish him well. What's really kind of crazy about it, because now, of course, the speculation is where's he going to end up?
I was just going to ask that. If
And he said that he wants to go somewhere that has a senior quarterback next season because he does have to sit out a year.
Right.
And was actually quoted saying Oklahoma comes to mind because it does fit those things. Being a Power 5 school, having a senior quarterback, so he could go in and compete right away.
Interesting.
He does have 2 years of eligibility left after he would sit out a year. He's got an old high school teammate who's a receiver there. Of course, he's very respectful of Bob Stoops as well. So if this happens, you could see a 2017. I don't know if it would be a Big 12 championship game necessarily, but a Big 12 game that would probably be pretty good, with Oklahoma team being led by Kyle Allen and a TCU team being led by Kenny Hill,
Interesting.
2 former A&M quarterbacks that we could not keep a hold of.
Right.
Kind of a
Very
sad day.
interesting. Wow.
Other kind of rumors, ESPN seems to think that Cal might be a destination that he wants to go. He is from Arizona, so he might head
West
out west,
Coast.
or he might stay in Texas. Who knows?
Interesting. What else?
Other kind of crazy story. This was a kind of a crazy story. So Iowa has capped the request for Rose Bowl tickets. The school was given 22,000 ticket allotment, but they had 54,381 requests.
That's crazy.
So SeatGeek average
That's
ticket
crazy.
is $691 for a ticket to the Rose Bowl. StubHub has it at $633. Just to let you know, the highest priced NFL game this year has been the Packer-Bronco game on November 1st. It was $525.
Jeez.
Your other 2 highest priced college games, The Orange Bowl, which is of course Clemson and OU, is only $333, and the Cotton Bowl, which is Bama and Michigan State, the other playoff game, is at $323. So that's basically twice what the two actual playoff games are going for, is what
Yeah,
the
it's
Rose
just
Bowl
nuts.
tickets are going through.
And wasn't there a crazy stat we were talking about earlier, Jack, about Utah and BYU?
That's another really. Of course, they're playing in some bowl. I don't even know the name
Isn't
of it.
it? Aren't they playing the Las Vegas Bowl? I know it's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, so those were
The
also
Go Spurs Go Memes Bowl.
for real. Like we could do it.
Coming next
A&M
year.
in Texas.
The Pride of Junction, Texas. The Go Spurs Go Memes Bowl.
But yeah, that's. I think behind. I only wrote those two down, but I think behind those two playoff games,
It's
the
that
Las
one.
Vegas, the Las Vegas Bulls played the first week of bowl season. Like it's not going to be a
It's
crazy.
coming
thing.
up. It's like this coming week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean Utah BYU is going to be a really good game. Next week we'll actually do our bowl preview of the games you
Woot
want to watch
woot.
and all that good stuff. But since they kind of started talking, we did have the final playoff order. I wanted to get y'all's opinion on a couple of things. Of course, a lot of people disagree. For the most part, I think things worked out very well. Clemson, Alabama, Michigan State, Oklahoma. And do you think did they get it right?
I think so.
Should Iowa 12-1, Michigan State 12-1?
Nah,
Michigan
I
State.
think Bama kind of proved itself. Oklahoma proved itself. Yes, they do have the horrible loss to Texas, but I mean, Texas beat Oklahoma and Baylor. I don't know. I think that I still want the playoff to be 8 teams, but with this 4-team format, I think they got it right this year.
People are always going to argue
It's
that.
always gonna be
And-
arguing,
Because
you know.
honestly, what I would say is to settle that, I want 8 teams. However, when there's 8 teams, I want 16 teams. And all
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I heard an interesting thing, which the difference between the NCAA and what they can do and all of the conferences and what they can do is totally different things. And unfortunately, they don't always talk together. But my dad was telling me he had, I don't know where he heard it or if it was his idea, who knows, shout out Dad, is you redistrict the teams and you still make them regional, so you keep all those rivalries and everything like that. But you go 8 12-team conference, 8 conferences, 12 teams each. So you've got 96 teams now in Division One. Currently, there are 128 teams in 10 conferences, so you would have to cut some teams. But there are 64 teams in the Power Five, so you could at least have that. I don't know if that would work. At least that way, it's you win your conference and you're in. There's no.
The big aspect here is money.
Yeah, it really is.
It's television. It's deals like that. I mean, people are still going to watch, their Oregon, see what uniforms they're going to wear this week, and to lose to.
Very true.
But I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. It's always money.
It is. It's
Very
always
true.
money.
All right, so we got a little bit of time left. Some NFL stuff. Last week had a couple upsets. The Patriots lost
Again.
to the Eagles. Kind
I
of
called
an
it.
interesting thing.
Shut up, Frank.
The Panthers sneaked away with a win
Yeah, they
in New
did.
Orleans. That was kind of a crazy thing. The Cowboys somehow found a way to win.
I couldn't believe that
After
the Cowboys
Deshaun
won. I'm
Jackson
just
gave
like,
them a game,
wow.
but then rescored. Who knows?
Yeah.
This week, the games that really kind of stand out, Bills and Eagles should be a pretty good one. It's got some playoff implications.
So real quick, Jack, NFC East. Cowboys are at the bottom, but there's still a chance they
They're
could
only a
still
game
win,
behind.
right?
No,
Yeah.
they're not-
Well,
but
you
but they're
guys-
still at the bottom of the
Oh,
NFC
Yeah, yeah.
East.
Technically, they're in last place. I think they're 4-8.
Right.
But then you've got Washington is in first by all the tiebreakers, and then the Giants and Philly are all 5-7. So
That's
they're
just
only
nuts.
a game back.
And they play Green Bay, which
Yeah,
they're
they do
probably gonna
play.
lose,
Yeah, they play Green Bay this
unless
week.
you're a Cowboys fan.
So who knows? Right now, the playoff picture in the AFC. Cincinnati's at 10-2 in first. Denver's at 10-2. New England's at 10-2. Indy's at 6-6, which is kind of the shoe-in of who knows between Indy and Houston who's going to get in.
Right.
You've got Kansas City, the Jets, and Pittsburgh at 7-5. Houston at 6-6. Trying to get those wild card, and then in the NFC you've got, of course, Carolina, Arizona, who is right now the hottest team.
I was gonna
don't
say,
even
yeah.
care if you think Carolina is better. Arizona is playing amazingly well. Green Bay with the Minnesota loss is now 8-4 in the third place spot in the NFC. Washington gets the division title if it started tomorrow, and then you got Minnesota at 8-5, Seattle at 7-5. And Tampa and Atlanta at 6-6.
Interesting.
What happened to Atlanta?
I don't know.
They went
Remember when we
5
talked about, like-
5-0,
Yeah.
like Matty Ice throwing the ball everywhere. I think they
They
forgot
just
how
kind
to play
of
football.
fizzled out. Yep.
Kind of crazy. But
What else, Jack? What else is in the NFL? Anything else?
last story, kind of crazy. I actually had to look up where Lehigh University is. And
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought this up.
It's in
This is
Bethlehem.
awesome.
Have you heard this, Frank?
Have you heard
No,
this, Frank?
tell
Oh,
me,
this is
tell me.
All right,
awesome,
so
Frank.
Lehigh University, it's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. 7 members of their football team about a month ago were charged with various things between trespassing and assault. Evidently, these members of the football team broke into an off-campus house, beat up a guy in revenge for an attack on one of the players' fraternity's president.
Bros before hoes.
Defensive back Brian Gathers was kind of the ringleader of all. When he confessed to the cops, they said, we entered the house about 3 a.m. We punched holes in the walls, kicked down the doors.
This is so messed up. I don't know why I'm laughing
punched
because it's really messed up.
a guy who was sleeping. They sent him to the hospital. But he also admitted he broke into the wrong house and attacked the wrong guy.
They totally took out this poor guy that was probably sound asleep in his home. They beat him up. They peed in his refrigerator.
Yeah, they peed in his refrigerator
They
too.
peed in his refrigerator, broke walls, doors, everything, and it was the wrong house.
Talk about a lawsuit.
I was telling
waiting to
Jack, I was
happen.
like, that guy is going to sue the kids, and then he's going to sue the university. So somebody just got their big payday. That's all I'm
And then
saying.
the perpetrator is probably going to announce his eligibility for the NFL.
right? Yeah, something like that.
I'm out of here. Leahy for life. Anyways, that's football. We'll be back in a bit.
Mama, mamacita, ¿dónde está Santa Claus? The vato with the bony knees, he coming down the street with no shoes on his feet, and he's going to...
And now it's time for On the Fly, one of our most favorite segments. Today we're going to be talking Christmas movies. Gentlemen, when you think Christmas, what movies pop into your head?
Well, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. The Chuck Jones version is actually one of my favorites up there, and there's lots of stories behind that too. But, it's a childhood favorite. It always comes on. Rudolph is the other one that everybody, the stop motion and everything.
True.
But I never catch it on time because they play it like in November.
I don't think
stuff
I've
like that.
caught it in years. I don't think I've seen any of those movies in
They
years.
still play them. They still play them.
The one that I see all the time is the Jim Carrey version of The Grinch, which drives me crazy.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
His performance spectacular, but that thing shouldn't even be a movie
Right.
at all. I mean, because
Right.
they go into his history, and it's like, come on. The whole point of the Grinch was that he was horrible.
Right.
And then with this movie that came in, it's just like, well, now you feel sorry for him. So now you feel sorry for him, and then you know what's going to happen. He's going to lift up the sled and all this other stuff, and he's going to have a heart of
Boo
gold at that
earns.
point.
Yeah.
It's like the whole
Ruined
point
Christmas.
of it was that he was so mean that you're like, wow, he really turned.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah, Jack,
A Christmas Story.
of course.
Oh,
'Cause
yes,
it's
of
on
Red Ryder,
the
BB
whole
gun.
day of either on TBS or TNT. I think it alternates years.
Yes.
Also, National Lampoon's
Christmas Vacation. You gotta mention that one.
favorite. I love that. I
course.
saw that in the theater growing up.
And
What's
then-
your, go ahead. Go ahead.
And then third, a little less known, Scrooged. Bill Murray.
Oh,
that's
that's
a
a
good
good
one.
one,
Very
too.
nice.
Okay, here's mine. And I don't even know if it's a Christmas movie, but it always reminds me of Christmas. Gremlins.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
I saw
Gremlins
that.
always reminds me of Christmas. So for me, a Christmas movie is Gremlins.
So, okay, is it a Christmas movie because it's about Christmas, or is it Christmas movie because it's framed in the Christmas setting?
I think
'Cause I'm
'cause
getting somewhere with this
I
one.
think it's because it's framed in the Christmas setting. So to me, that's a Christmas movie.
So it counts as one.
I mean, even
would
the
have to
poster,
agree with
even
you.
the poster has the bad gremlin Striper
Stripe.
jumping out of a Christmas present.
Yeah.
True.
Or the other poster had the Mogwai box with Gizmo coming out of it too. So to me, it's a Christmas movie, but
Okay.
it's because of the time frame that the
So by
movie's in.
definition up there, because a lot of people have this one argument of this movie that I'm going to suggest right now. It's one of my favorites that I see during the holiday seasons, Die Hard.
Of course, Die Hard is a
yes,
Christmas
It,
movie.
much
it is one of the most fantastic Christmas movies, and if you don't think it is, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
It's Die Hard, and I have to say Die Hard 2 because they both take place during Christmas times.
True, they do.
Oh, you know what? I've never seen Die Hard 2.
What?
Because I don't want to
Seriously?
spoil it. The first one I love so much. You have a superhero with no shoes.
Right.
Yeah, superhero. I say
Right.
that because he took on what, Germans? It's
It's
the
true.
glass.
Yeah, shoot the glass, Mr. Gruber. Yeah, no. I always think of Die Hard and Die Hard 2 because they're both done during Christmas. And I really love Die Hard 2, and I always remember Die Hard 2 because I remember seeing it in the theater by myself. And it was the first time I think it was one of the first movies I saw on THX. So like it was super loud and
wow.
everything, you know what I mean? So I will always remember Die Hard 2 just for that, for being so freaking loud when I saw it. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. What else? What other movies?
Well, do you have any movies out there? Because there's one I do really want to talk about. My favorite movie all
Go
time.
for
is-
it. It's all
that's
Gone
what
with the Wind?
No, that's what I did earlier.
That's not
before you-
Christmas? No?
No, that's after Henry.
The field
Puffy
burning?
Knuckles.
No?
My favorite of all time is, and I saw it last night, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. There's so many quotes to this thing. It is a time classic.
It really
up there.
is.
I mean, to sit there and just every year we go up there, you go to the bathroom, you come out, shit is full.
It's true. Like I like those type of Christmas movies. I hate the Lifetime original Christmas movies.
You watch Lifetime?
that? Well, my wife does. I
Sure.
hate all those movies that come out on there. And then there's another channel that my wife and my mother-in-law
Not
watch.
without my snow cone.
Yeah. It's I
something like
forget what the station is, but they have these horrible
Wait.
Christmas movies.
Does someone have like a really, really solid relationship only to be tarnished by a death of some sort?
Yes,
There you go.
or they have like it's a
Can't.
guy that's single and a girl that's single, and Santa's gonna push them together and make it a
Against
Christmas
their
miracle.
will,
Oh, I hate
essentially.
crap
Yep,
like that
yep,
so much.
Yep.
Those are the worst freaking movies ever. God. Okay, so
do you
what
have
else,
anything?
Jack? What else? You got the list, right, Jack?
Yeah, well, so I looked up according to AMC, which I'm figuring that these are movies about Christmas because
Okay.
Die Hard isn't in there. And
Boo.
Yeah.
you're
Terrible
wrong,
list.
AMC.
It's
you're
a
wrong,
horrible
AMC.
list.
So just looking through Bad Santa,
I've never seen that. I've never
I
seen
do
that,
like
but
Bad
yeah.
Santa. That's pretty funny.
A Nightmare Before Christmas, which I do enjoy that one.
The funny thing about Bad Santa is, if you ever seen this, is that there's a running joke about anal sex throughout the entire thing. And it's just so damn funny. It's like, because like there's a part where Bad Santa's trying to ask this lady, he's like, hey, I need a favor. And she's like, hell no. The last time I did a favor for you, I couldn't shit right for a week. And so there's just this running joke about that throughout the entire movie.
Let's see.
Keep spreading the holiday cheer, Jack.
Christmas in Connecticut. No,
Never heard of
seen
that.
it.
There's probably a reason.
Scrooge, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh my
I've
God!
never
How
seen
can
that
we
either.
forget the Muppet Christmas Carol? It's
Yes, that's
fantastic.
right. That's right.
yeah.
That's right. I have seen that.
Muppets are quality. Muppets
Yeah, it
are
is. I still think my favorite Muppet movie is Muppet Treasure Island.
I love Muppets in Space
See, I don't remember Muppets in Space
because that's where Pepe is really introduced as a main
very
character.
true.
I love him.
See, I remember Pepe from Long John Silver's commercials. That's where I remember him. Pepe,
Pepe.
Pepe. Continue, Jack.
Let's see. Holiday Inn. I never heard of it. Bing
No
Crosby, Fred Astaire.
Oh, see, no.
Oh, okay.
Wait. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13 is a Christmas Carol.
I don't know
The
what
George
that is.
C.
How
Scott one.
about Mickey
Charles
Mouse's
Dickens.
Christmas Carol? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's him. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, Mickey's version.
Yeah, Mickey's Christmas
Yeah.
Carol and stuff. I love that. Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
up there.
Scrooge.
Oh, I forgot about
Tiny
Scrooge
Tim.
McDuck.
A little trivia: John
There we go.
Lasseter, the CEO
Yeah.
of Pixar, animated on that film.
Really?
Yeah, he worked on it. It's one
Oh,
of his
that's
first
fantastic.
jobs. Mhm.
Interesting.
I don't feel any smarter.
See,
Go
number
ahead.
12, White Christmas. Again,
Meh.
The Santa Claus.
You know what?
Okay,
I don't hate that movie.
The Santa Claus movie, like with Dudley Moore, where he's the evil elf with the candy flying stuff. Is that the one we're talking about?
No, we're
the
talking
Santa
about
Claus
Tim
with
Allen.
But what was that one that you're talking about?
It was Santa Claus the movie.
Yeah, okay, where they had Christmas 2 and then candy canes.
It was the
Something,
candy
yeah.
canes that helped, like the
Make you
freaking
fly for a
yes,
little bit. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
I remember that movie.
What about? I remember watching one. I don't remember the title of this, but it was an Ernest movie. Ernest Saves Christmas.
Ernest Saves Christmas. Yeah. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I think it was Ernest Saves Christmas.
Was it Speed? Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Speed's a Christmas movie too, because that happens during Christmas, right?
Does it really?
I thought that was during Christmas.
No idea what you're talking about.
Speed, Keanu Reeves, and
No, I
Sandra
know what
Bullock.
you're talking about, but I don't think it happens during Christmas.
I really thought that was during Christmas. No,
Christmas
am I
is
making that
cold.
up?
Why would you be on a boat when it's cold?
Well, it wasn't a boat. They were on a
It
bus.
was a bus.
The boat was the
Oh,
sequel.
the second one.
Speed 2,
Are
which
you
we
telling
won't
me I
talk
saw
about.
the wrong one?
Pretty much you did. Let me see. I'm going to Google
Let's
that.
see.
Is
You've also got,
Speed during Christmas?
Frosty the Snowman.
Another classic. These
Oh,
are
I forgot about that.
Cla-
Yeah.
But they also had
Christmas
a
Story.
Frosty 2, which was made in the 60s or 70s, something like that.
I still want to go see Krampus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It looks
I
pretty
do.
good.
I
Yeah.
really do want to see Krampus.
Miracle on 34th Street.
I've never
Oh,
seen
I
that. Which
forget
one
that.
was
I've
that?
never seen it,
been
but
a big
yeah.
fan of it.
What was speaking of which, A Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful
Yeah.
Life, though. That's a
coming up.
I mean, you have to.
yeah.
You have to. It's mandatory to watch that. I want to live again.
Let's see, Rudolph, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I got to
Also
mention Charlie Brown.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Again?
Christmas Vacation. Didn't they remake that? Is it out already?
Christmas Vacation?
No. They made another one.
They made the
summer vacation.
summer vacation.
No, but I
Oh,
guarantee
that's
you they're
right.
probably
Yeah,
gonna
at
record
some
it.
point they will.
Holiday
Oh, one that we have
Road.
not mentioned, Home Alone.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Christmas
good one.
That is a Christmas film.
And you know what? Have you ever watched that recently?
I haven't watched it in a while.
You know, the story, in my opinion, is pretty powerful. And I mean,
Yeah.
but in the end, of course, what's his name? Macaulay Culkin's character. What's his name?
Kevin.
Kevin. He's a jerk.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing.
He's a normal
Oh,
9-year-old kid.
He's a
Like-
brat, yeah.
Like, he's a brat that pitches a fit when he doesn't get his way.
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life.
And
is
he
number
never learns a
2.
lesson.
Yeah, I still know. It took him what? 4
What's the
movies?
lesson? Don't
5
have
movies?
kids.
Number 1, kind of a newer movie. I don't know if I'm that much of a fan of it, but people go crazy over this movie, Elf.
I love
Oh, I
Elf.
freaking forgot
In
about
fact,
Elf.
That,
That's
I
pretty
saw
sad.
that last night. But my wife enjoys it. She loves it. That's her main film. that
Christmas
she loves
movie
watching.
is Elf.
Yeah, it's Elf.
I completely forgot about that movie. But I don't think I was ever like all about it. Like I didn't think it was like freaking hilarious.
Because
or
you're a
anything.
Grinch.
I really am a Grinch. I'm a curmudgeon, is what I am.
Oh, that's even better.
Curmudgeon.
That's exactly what I am.
Let's see.
That's true.
Other movies that weren't really about Christmas, but kind of. The Godfather.
Whatever. Sure, that was a great movie.
That was a great Christmas movie.
Fantastic.
That
Oh no, what did like set around Christmas?
Eventually. I'm sure they had a Christmas scene in there.
Toy Story is on this list. This is now a
Toy Story is
This is a
Christmas?
538 blog. The best movies that are kind of about Christmas.
No, I won't say.
You can
Toy
do better
Story,
than Die Hard. No, you can't.
you can't
538.
do. No.
No.
What else? Goodfellas.
Goodfellas was during Christmas?
Das Boot.
Das Boots. What does that mean?
Das Boot. Oh, but you're not referring to Beer Fest, right?
No, not Beer
Okay,
Fest.
that's when I hear Das Boot, that's what I think of.
That's the
Me
second
too.
reference I've heard today on Beer Fest. Star
Princess
Wars Battle of
Bride.
Hoth.
Star Empire Strikes Back. That's a Christmas
This
movie.
is actually the worst thing that I've ever
Except
seen.
Santa's black.
538 actually right. Usually 538's on point.
Their
but
stuff's usually on point. Yeah, it is.
this
They're all
is-
on vacation right
This is
now.
a bit iffy.
And that brings us to the end of podcast number 16. I'd like to thank my buddies in studio with me, Jack the intern, Frank the producer. Thank you guys so much for spending another night with me. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Buddy and Sean. We'll have another great show for you guys. Leave us comments if you have questions, concerns, you want to know, you want us to look into something. Shoot us an email, ray@GoSpursGoMemes.com. We love the feedback. We hear a lot of wonderful things. And we will see you guys next week. And as always, go Spurs, go.
You got to describe what transpired.
I can't believe you just freaking took your shirt off in front of me. I didn't realize how hairy your nipples were. That completely threw me off.
Surprising, isn't it?
It's
It's not as hairy as
it's
yours.
like
He's
I
talking
just-
about Frank, not me.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, you completely